Hi guys, Coach Jackie here from Effectus Athletics. Going to be talking a little bit about sleep today and the role that plays in your body composition goals. We're also going to talk about ways that you can diagnose that maybe you're not getting enough sleep or enough quality sleep, and then how can we go about fixing that or improving our quality of sleep. Sleep is one of those things that, you could be exercising every day, your nutrition could be on point, and if you're still not seeing the results that you want or in your body composition and or performance in the gym, sleep can definitely be to blame. See, it's really important that you have or try to maintain a balance between your sympathetic nervous system and your parasympathetic. So parasympathetic is like what they say, rest and digest. It's like your recovery, whereas sympathetic are the stressors in life. Even working out is a stressor, but obviously that creates positive adaptations, but maybe stressors at work are piling up, stress from your home life. And the issue with that is when we have sympathetic dominance, so basically continued chronic exposure to stressors, what that does is it leads to a dysregulation of cortisol. You're probably wondering, well, why does that matter? Why does it matter if I don't regulate my cortisol well? Well, for a couple things, chronically elevated cortisol basically leads to chronically elevated blood sugar, which can lead to insulin resistance, which for most people means excess belly fat. So again, if you're trying to change body composition, something as simple as just not getting enough sleep could be the reason that you're holding on to belly fat. Not that your nutrition isn't on point, not that you're not working out hard enough. Poor regulation of your cortisol can lead to thyroid dysfunction, a decrease in testosterone, and also cortisol is very catabolic, which means that it breaks down muscle tissue. So you can see how not getting enough sleep and not being able to regulate our cortisol can be very detrimental to wanting to get results in the gym or change your body composition. So let's kind of talk about signs that you're not getting enough sleep or maybe not getting enough quality sleep. So it's one thing to get 9 hours of sleep, but if you're waking up every 2 hours and not really ever getting into a deep sleep, quality is definitely trumps quantity any day. So let's talk about some ways that we can kind of set ourselves up for success. Well, first off, signs we're not sleeping or getting enough sleep. Your mind is foggy, you're unhappy. Like I said, sleep plays a really big role in our hormone regulation. You're struggling with your weight. Your workouts feel harder than usual. You're getting sick a lot. So those are just to name a few. For me, when I'm getting enough sleep, it improves my decision making the next day. I feel energized throughout my workouts. I perform better during my workouts. I just feel like I'm a lot sharper. So let's talk about how do we get or set ourselves up for a good night's rest. A couple things that are huge. Setting a sleep schedule. That is absolutely number one. And sticking to it. So it's one thing, I guess, to have a sleep schedule like Monday through Thursday, and then all of a sudden Friday, Saturday, and Sunday that looks different. Basically, you're going to spend, so how this works, if you have a sleep schedule Monday through Thursday, but you want to go out and stay out late on Friday and Saturday, well, you're going to spend the earlier parts of the week, let's say Monday or Tuesday, trying to get back on schedule, and then really your body is only going to get 2 quality nights of sleep, Wednesday and Thursday, before you screw it up again. So really doing your best to establish a sleep schedule. For me, that's in bed by 9:30 to kind of wind down, so I fall asleep by 10 and wake up between 6 and 6:30, just depending on my schedule. That's probably one of the most important things that you could also do to help you regulate your 2 hormones, melatonin and cortisol. A couple other ideas, whatever thoughts are in your head, get them out of your head. Get them on paper. So for me, kind of as I'm winding down that half hour, but that I basically go to bed at 9:30, any thoughts that are just kind of lingering in my head, I have a little pen and paper by my bed, I just write them down, just get them out of my mind. That way I can kind of stop worrying about them and just know that they're on my list to take care of first thing in the next morning. Another thing, so turn off electronics. Really, they say your bedroom should be for 2 things. Sleep is one of them. I'm sure you can figure out what the other one is. No TV, no phones. It's huge. Most electronics give off this blue light, which is very stimulating. So that's going to screw up your body's ability to produce melatonin, because it's going to see that light as a stimulus. And so going back to that circadian rhythm, if you guys remember that We are kind of designed to wake when the sun rises and to fall asleep when the sun sets. And lights from our electronics can really screw with that, because our body still sees that as like a stimulus. So it's not going to start making melatonin, which is going to make it really hard for you to go to get a good night's rest or to get into a deep sleep, to even fall asleep in the first place. That goes along with also making your room as dark as possible, especially if you live in the city and you have street lights. If you can find some blackout blinds. If you don't live in the city, you're extremely lucky, because then you can kind of regulate your sleep with the sun. Meaning when it's super dark in the evening, your room will be pitch black, and the best thing you can do for your body to regulate melatonin and cortisol is to also wake up with the sun in the morning. If that is not an option to wake up with the sun in the morning because you're using blackout blinds, it's better to have blackout blinds to keep the street lights out at night so your body makes melatonin. And then in the morning, when your alarm goes off, the first thing you should do is open your blinds, get sunlight in your room. A couple other tips: limit your fluids in the evening. So for me, I get 2/3 of my water in before 2 o'clock, and then my last 1/3 I try to have done before about 7 o'clock at night. So that way when I go to bed, I'm not worrying about waking up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom. And then last but not least, avoiding alcohol and caffeine. So my kind of rule is just caffeine just in the morning, 1 cup in the morning of coffee, and that's it. But definitely do not have any caffeine, I would say, past 2 o'clock. And then alcohol. People try to use coffee and alcohol to regulate their cortisol, right? So coffee in the morning to get us up and moving, and then alcohol in the evening to kind of bring cortisol down, or to try to downer, as they say, to help us fall asleep. That really actually just prevents you from getting into a good night's deep sleep. So try to get rid of those things so that your body starts to regulate melatonin and cortisol all on its own. You're going to get your best night's sleep when your body starts to regulate these things on your own. The last trick you could try, I'm a big fan of taking magnesium. I take magnesium about 30 minutes before I go to bed. Really helps me fall asleep and get into a really deep sleep. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to any of the coaches. Hopefully you guys can look forward to some nights in the future of really good rest. And we'll see you back here at the gym.